The glass-walled room at Northlake Analytics held 3 chairs, 2 folders, and a projector paused on Q2 Outlook. Brooke Halstead faced the door. Clarissa Eng kept a pen over a checklist. When Maya Collins stepped in, the hallway reflected across the glass like a second meeting watching the first. "We're restructuring your position," Brooke said, voice even, paper crisp. Clarissa slid a manila folder across the table, logo faint in cardstock. "Severance details. Handover by Friday. Keycard, laptop, phone." Maya set her tote on the chair, lifted the folder, and did not open it. A black pen lay across the spine. She rotated it 90 degrees, tucked both into the tote, and eased the strap back onto her shoulder. "Your team will be notified this afternoon," Clarissa added, eyes on the boxes to tick. "We appreciate your professionalism." Outside the room, footsteps passed. Damon Pierce, gray suit, remote in hand, slowed enough to glance at the paused slide. He didn't enter. The door side closed. Maya nodded once. "Please send the standard asset list." She sat, hands flat, listening while Clarissa read the clauses: non-disclosure, inventions, exit interview. When Clarissa reached intellectual property, Maya said simply, "Within company time and resources." Clarissa marked a tiny square and kept reading. Brooke kept tapping her pen, quick, then slower. "This isn't personal," she said at last. "Business rarely is," Maya answered. She signed where tabs flagged the margins. The pen cap clicked. Clarissa gathered pages into neat corners. Through the glass, interns rolled a whiteboard past the door, words half visible in the glare: consolidate, velocity, runway. In the corridor, light from the atrium left a rectangle across the carpet. Maya walked it the way one steps a crosswalk, measured, exact. The trophy case beside the elevator held a small metal sculpture, Distributed Systems, 2022. She paused one beat, then pressed the down arrow. Back at her office, she opened a drawer and placed a spiral notebook labeled Run Book on the desk. Password vault export, administrative contacts, build steps, handoff scope. She printed the index, clipped it to a plastic folder, and labeled it Transition, RD. Her monitor woke to a company banner, Research to Consolidate under Product Development. The team chat bloomed with reactions. Fresh direction, younger bench, and the ghosted ellipses of someone typing, then erasing, doors closing, glass cooling, a hallway full of reflections. Clarissa pinged to schedule the exit interview. The calendar block landed at 3:30 p.m. Maya returned the key fob to her top drawer and set her badge on the keyboard, the lanyard edge straightened flush with the space bar. A courier label printed from the small thermal machine by the window, curling at the edge before flattening. She crossed the hall to HR, signed the last acknowledgement, and repeated the boundary. Outside company time. "Outside company resources," Clarissa nodded without looking up. By the elevator again, Maya took out her personal phone. One sentence, green bubble. It sent with a chime. It read, "It's green. Friday." Steam drifted from the teapot as a screen folded shut, sealing the booth the way a vault door seals a secret. Evan Grant rose half an inch when Maya arrived, placed a leather folder between the chopsticks. She set her tote down, phone face down, and slid into the shadowed seat. Outside noise faded. He opened the folder. Contracts nested like layers. Exclusive licensing, 7-figure sign-on, equity, royalties. A second stack, USPTO filings, showed receipts, timestamps, and commit logs labeled Personal Workstation. A small line in blue ink underlined the boundary. Outside company time and resources. Maya lifted the top page, scanning citations and docket numbers. Her fingertip paused on the words, "Creator credited by name," then moved on. Evan watched the pause, then flipped to the communications plan. Monday, 7:00 a.m., embargo lifts, press release syndication. Monday sets the board. "Before we sign," he said, 2 safeguards. He tapped indemnification and a morals clause. Axiom would hold the line if Northlake rattled sabers. He slid another sheet across, 6 prepared offers. Raphael, Anita, Leon, Sophia, Jonah, Priya, with titles, boosts, start dates, relocation support. A color bar beside each offer marked compensation brackets. The gradient deepened at senior and principal. Off the record, Evan said he had watched enough family revenge stories inside corporations to recognize the script. A house that calls itself a team, favors shuffled at holidays, credit passed like heirlooms. If the company wants a family, he murmured, it should stop breaking its own. She uncapped the pen. The nib touched the page, quick strokes, clean curves, cap on, cap off for the countersignature. An associate appeared, took the executed set, promised scans within the hour. He poured tea. They reviewed the 90-day map, integrate the Collins algorithm V2, certify the plus 46% efficiency on Axiom hardware, instrument logging, roll out to 2 pilot clients. On slide 3, Maya drew a square around a risk line. No North Lake materials, no artifacts, no gray areas, then boxed it twice. A hush settled. Knives whispering behind the counter, a bamboo tick somewhere out of sight. Maya's phone buzzed once on the table, screen still dark. She turned it over, silenced alerts, and opened the media brief. Name the spine correctly. The brief listed outlets, talking points, and a single centerpiece, the sentence that credits the inventor in plain English. They rehearsed answers. Ownership, scope, migration paths, what the news means for clients already running Ledger 1. Evan requested a Sunday media coaching hour. Maya added it to the calendar. He checked compliance one more time. No data leaves Northlake. Only knowledge, personal work, and patent rights cross the river. She nodded, then reached for the mock press page, where the headline used the words that corporate families avoid saying aloud. Stories like this live beside family drama stories, except the quarrel happens under fluorescent lights. The server returned with the check. Maya signed. Evan signed. Monday 7, he said. She mirrored him. We go public. Her phone vibrated softly. A calendar tile flipped green. Release goes live. In her inbox, a message surfaced from Axiom Legal. Fully executed. Below it, the subject line for Raphael's offer populated, ready to send. She had already sent the text. It's green. Friday. Earlier. Outside, Seattle rain began, as if the city were washing the runway clean. Thursday began with a printer's hum and a crisp stack of paper on Maya's desk. Runbook, index tabs fanned like piano keys. She numbered the sections: build environments, secrets rotation, on-call map, failover drill, and clipped the pages into a clear folder labeled Transition, RD. A second folder waited for passwords and ownership maps, nothing personal inside, just team accounts set to change hands at 4 o'clock. She scheduled 30-minute knowledge transfer blocks and color-coded the invites. The hallway outside kept passing by in reflected slices, shoes, a rolling whiteboard, the corner of a slide that read, Consolidation. When Clarissa pinged for the 3:30 checklist, Maya answered with a thumbs up and dragged 3 more documents into the handover directory. At lunch, a junior engineer hovered with a laptop. Could you write a recommendation? He asked, voice pitched low, as if the glass could listen. She opened his profile, typed clean lines about build discipline and incident response, and pressed send. The thank you he mouthed didn't need sound. Brooke paused in the doorway later, eyes flicking to the small metal award on Maya's shelf already wrapped in newsprint. Time off? Brooke asked, pen tapping its own metronome. Schedule's tight, Maya said, aligning a binder clip until the arms lay flat. Everything in its box, everything on record. By mid-afternoon, the password vault export for team assets was done. She assigned new owners, set expirations, and pasted the list into the runbook appendix. On her monitor, a post-it glowed. No export, no artifacts, boundary. She wiped the company phone to defaults and set it face down beside the badge. Clarissa's checklist lived up to its geometry, right angles, empty boxes filling one by one. NDA acknowledged, Clarissa read. Inventions, as defined by policy. Maya answered in the same cadence used the night before at dinner. Within company time and resources, Clarissa drew a neat line under the clause and advanced to the signature tab. Damon drifted past the glass of the larger conference room, a gray suit and a remote. The slide behind him paused on runway risk. He glanced toward the smaller room without breaking stride. The door breathed shut on the soft hydraulics Northlake loved to buy. Friday placed different light on the carpet. Maya packed the laptop, the charger, the company phone, and the keycard into a box, then peeled a small asset return sticker and smoothed it until the wrinkle vanished. She checked the handover email, links to documentation, contact chain, known issues, maintenance windows. CCs formed a tidy spine: Brooke, Clarissa, product ops, support. The internal banner refreshed, research to consolidate under product development. In Slack, ellipses flickered and disappeared. Yes. She uploaded a final diagram, watched the progress bar reach the end, and logged out. At the equipment counter, a guard stamped the form, then set the box on a steel shelf. The badge lay on her keyboard for exactly one breath more before she lifted it, tapped it twice against the desk, and placed it squarely on top. Her personal phone buzzed once in her pocket. The calendar still held a single green tile. Monday, 7:00 a.m. Release goes live. Offers waited in drafts, initials ready. Corporate families write quiet family drama stories. Doors close, lights change, and the hallway camera blinks red. 7:00 a.m. Pacific. The headline lands like a starting gun. Axiom Ledger announces exclusive rights to the Collins algorithm, welcomes its creator, Dr. Maya Collins, as Chief Innovation Officer. Syndication toggles on, her calendar tile turns green. PR pings the media brief. Maya straightens a single corner of paper, then steps into a conference room with glass that makes a mirror out of the city. Monitors bloom with mentions: credit, licensing, migration. A line chart slides upward for Axiom. A neighboring ticker slants down for Northlake. Pre-market jitters harden. Name first, facts second, path forward. Maya reviews the talking points once: ownership, scope, options. She does not touch old data. 2 pilot clients stand by for the 90-day map she sketched across a whiteboard, neat boxes and arrows that avoid every gray line. Across town, a cart squeaks beneath the weight of servers. RD Hardware rolls into the largest conference room at Northlake. Martin Cho takes off his glasses and polishes them with the corner of a packet labeled Contracts. Archive. Brooke Halstead stacks handouts and watches the hall. Damon Pierce stands with a remote, switching slides without speaking. A message from Raphael appears on Maya's screen. Complete chaos here. He adds a photo of the glass doors and the shoulders beyond. Maya replies with a single sentence: check your personal email. 2 enterprise customers email Axiom within minutes, subject lines red flagged. They ask for migration timelines, for licensing posture, for clarity. Sales highlights both accounts in the CRM. Comms drafts replies, legal drops in the pathway that respects the patent and continuity. The war room boards glow with dots clustering around the word credit. Northlake pushes an internal banner about consolidation. Slack bubbles form and vanish. A few profiles quietly adjust their LinkedIn headings, a corporate whisper that belongs beside family drama stories. Except the living room is full of fluorescent light. Under fluorescent light, the company's family portrait tilts. Like family drama stories, the silence says more than memos, and the legal clock begins to tick loud enough for everyone to hear. At 9:45, an email from Damon lands in Maya's inbox. There appears to be a misunderstanding. Please call her. She forwards it to Axiom Legal. Auto-reply goes back with counsel details. Only numbers and names. PR slides a line across the table. Say the inventor's name before anything else. Maya nods. Ownership. Clarity. Options. The rhythm is clipped, unadorned. 2 clients knock. A boardroom door starts to shake. By 10:30, a newsletter runs a column titled Credit and Control in Distributed Systems. A graph shows the efficiency delta the Collins algorithm V2 brings when implemented on commodity hardware. In Axiom's lab, engineers run a fresh pass and record a number higher than Friday's. Martin asks for every file with Maya's name. Someone wheels in another cart. Damon finally speaks. The room stills as the remote stops clicking. Maya walks product through the 90-day milestones: integrate, validate performance, certify, pilot, generalize. No Northlake artifacts, no exceptions. She aligns a stack of printouts until the edges agree. The posture speaks. Axiom's stock prints plus or 12% intra-morning. Northlake dips, 7%. Numbers scroll, shoes move faster down the hall. Raphael texts again. All hands at 2 p.m. Someone asked, "Did we actually file the patent?" The room went quiet. Corporate families love to call themselves families. Family revenge stories remind them what names are for. Here the heirloom is credit, and it has a lock. Maya closes her notebook. "Back to the roadmap," she says, and the team leans in as if gravity has changed direction. 12:15 p.m. Pacific. Damon's subject line arrived like a brittle envelope. Misunderstanding, algorithm. Maya forwarded it to Axiom Legal without a salutation. Auto-reply flew back to Northlake with council names, phone numbers, and an invitation to schedule. The war room in Austin kept its lights low and the dashboards bright, mentions threaded across the wall. Comms grouped them into clusters: credit, licensing, migration. PR underlined the cadence again. Name the inventor first, then the facts, then the path forward. Maya smoothed the edge of a term sheet, aligning it with the table seam. Legal slid the finished terms across. Exclusive license. Triple the prevailing industry rate. Public inventor credit in every market communication, product screen, and filing. Scope and territory defined. Audit rights established. No transfer without consent. Evan tapped twice on the last clause and left his finger there until it stopped trembling. In the lab, engineers reran V2 on commodity servers, then on Axiom's tuned rack. A number blinked higher than Friday's. Throughput up 51%. Someone stuck a small sticker beside the graph. V2.1. The room exhaled like metal cooling in shade. Sales flagged 2 inbound accounts, then a third. CRM lit their tags red, booking 45-minute holds and sending calendar blocks. Legal reviewed each reply twice. They wanted migration windows, service levels, and whether Axiom would honor continuity during negotiation. Comms drafted answers in plain English, checked them with legal, and queued the messages. Every reply began with a name: Dr. Maya Collins. Across the water in Seattle, Northlake stacked paper. Martin Cho polished his glasses with the corner of a contract envelope and asked for employment agreements, invention assignments, and the entire email archive with Maya's surname. Brooke Halstead gathered RD binders into a tidy spine, one edge frayed where a tab had been torn free. Damon paced with a remote, stopping at a slide titled Risk Escalation. 1:45 p.m. Axiom pushed 6 offers: Raphael, Anita, Leon. Sophia, Jonah, Priya, titles, brackets, start dates, relocation if needed. Onboarding calendars opened like doors. Pay for rights, say the name, everything else negotiates. At 2 o'clock, Northlake's all hands filled the largest conference room. Damon's sentences circled the runway without landing. A hand lifted near the back. "Did we actually file the patent?" Silence spread to the corners. The remote stopped clicking. Maya stood with product in Austin and ran a fingertip down the 90-day map. Integrate, validate, certify, pilot, generalize. No artifacts crossed the line, she said. Her printouts met its square edges that made a single block, heavy enough to anchor the table. By 3:10, an analysis column posted, "Credit and control in distributed systems." It diagrammed how Ledger 1 depended on the Collins algorithm for scale and latency. The arrows looked like scaffolding holding a facade upright. The piece asked, without naming names, whether governance at Northlake had kept pace with the innovation it sold. CFO at Northlake opened a model. Scenario A, license. Margin bruised, continuity preserved. Scenario B, rebuild, costly, slow, uncertain. Customers test exits. He held a finger above enter longer than habit before running the ranges. The screen leaned toward A. Axiom Legal sent a letter of intent to Northlake. Term sheet attached. Meeting windows within 48 hours. A footer note clarified the boundary again. No data transfers from Northlake. Only the patent and the inventor's personal knowledge stand in play. The simple posture that powers corporate family revenge stories. Clean lines, clean hands. Night settled. PR scrubbed social feeds and found last year's conference thread where a keynote had named a system without naming its maker. Anonymous replies told old office tales. Credit passed like heirlooms. Rooms full of fluorescent silence. Family drama stories, but the living room was glass, and the curtains were stock tickers. Evan returned to the war room. "We'll keep it simple," he said. "Pay for rights, say the name." Two paths remain: license and live, or rebuild and bleed time. By Tuesday morning, the letter of intent axiom sent in Part 5 had landed on Northlake's docket, neat and unavoidable. Legal calendar blocks multiplied. The subject line, Governance IP Oversight, flashed on executives' phones like a smoke alarm that refused to sleep. In Austin, the war room lights stayed soft while dashboards glowed blue, and Maya Collins reviewed onboarding folders with a pencil along the spine. 2 enterprise customers confirmed meetings within 48 hours. Sales labeled them hot, comms tuned the migration playbook, and legal replaced hedges with sentences that stood up. Ownership, clarity, options, Maya said, aligning a stack until the edges agreed. Evan walked the floor with her. New laptops were imaged, badge photos scheduled, serial numbers recorded in the system. Compliance said the line again, no Northlake data crosses. The room repeated it, ritual clean. At 10:12 a.m., Raphael accepted. Anita followed at 10:19, Leon at 10:27, Sophia at 10:34, Jonah at 10:41, and Priya at 10:49. 6 green checks rolled across HR's dashboard like a tide changing the color of a beach. Welcome packets went out. Orientation invites populated Monday at 9. Calendars, finally, looked like a plan. Northlake pushed a retention memo with tidy columns. Salary bumps, new titles, refreshed RSUs. The covers were crimson, the counters stayed blank. Replies came back courteous and brief. Raphael thanked them and declined. Anita said her path was set. Leon wished the team well. Sophia kept to 8 words. Jonah signed with a period you could hear. Priya used effective immediately, and Brooke, watching timestamps stacked to the minute in the HRIS, stopped tapping her pen. 6 doors open at once. The hallway behind them starts to empty. Slack sounded like weather. Status toggled to open to work, then back. Threads appeared and blew out. A private channel renamed itself to something plain. On the whiteboard, someone boxed 6 months and struck it through with a sideways slash. The original took 3 years, a senior engineer said, a measurement more than a complaint. In Austin, Maya and Evan tuned the 90-day map for a team of 12. Access tiers were staged, repositories created fresh, and an integration branch waited with a sign that read, "Do not merge until legal greenlight." Even the sign had squared corners. Data flow systems wrote with questions dressed as caution. If Northlake refuses license, will Axiom guarantee continuity? Comms answered with the cadence that set the room's metronome. Ownership, clarity, options. The reply named the inventor first and laid out the path like a flight plan. Rumors of a lawsuit drifted down Seattle's hallways the way corporate myths travel, fast and sideways. Martin asked again for every message containing Collins. Damon changed slides faster than habit and left his coffee at the same half line as yesterday. The board summons for an emergency session arrived at 6:00 p.m., subject in all caps. Someone leaked the title to a private channel, and the channel went very quiet, the internet's version of holding a breath. At Axiom, printers sang out name badges while facilities taped placards above new desks. The 6 chairs looked ceremonial, then normal, the way a house turns into a home by being used. Phase 2, Evan said, skimming a finger along the access binder. Maya set a pen on the cover and left it there. Corporate families call themselves families until credit picks up its legal name. Family revenge stories echo under fluorescent light. Family drama stories do too. Here, the heirloom is attribution, and it is arriving with paperwork. The board meets at dusk. Monday's door is already propped open. The boardroom had the curtains drawn. At Northlake's emergency session, directors signed their names in blue, then slid the folder to the end of the table. When the door opened again, an assistant carried out a small box with a nameplate inside. The subject line went company-wide at 6:42 a.m. Leadership update. Immediate transition. Damon Pierce stepped down effective immediately. Brooke Halstead relinquished her role. The head of legal was replaced. In the first quiet after the announcement, laptops chimed an uneven chorus. By 7:12, a new message appeared in Maya Collins's inbox with a plain greeting and a signature block she did not know yesterday. Richard Donovan, interim CEO, wrote in clear lines, "Northlake seeks a fair licensing arrangement for the Collins algorithm. We are prepared to acknowledge your contributions publicly and to make appropriate amends for prior oversights. Would you be available to meet within 72 hours?" Maya forwarded the note to Axiom Legal. A calendar invite followed with a checklist: boundaries, audit rights, territory, public credit, reporting cadence, and a bold reminder: no Northlake data crosses. Evan skimmed, tapped the margin twice, and nodded toward the room where product pinned the 90-day map back on the wall. Northlake proposed a press clarification. The first draft softened names and firmed the company. Axiom redlined it. First sentence must name Dr. Maya Collins as creator. Second, must define patent scope. The phrase, "our team innovation," must be deleted. Track changes looked like a constellation no one could mistake twice. Start with the name, then the truth. Finance reopened its model. License still beat rebuild on any horizon shorter than 3 years. Richard asked legal for acknowledgement by name, not apology. Axiom marked minimums and left the row titled non-negotiable untouched. 2 enterprise customers received measured updates. Northlake was in discussions. Axiom would maintain continuity via licensing or migration, whichever closed sooner. Inside the Seattle office, contractors repainted a wall, while an IT cart ferried retired machines. Richard held a short town hall, fingertips barely touching the podium. He outlined a governance and IP program modeled on best practice. Questions stayed practical. A few hands took notes with block letters like a promise. In Austin, Maya kept the roadmap ahead of the press. Integrate, validate, certify, pilot, generalize. The verbs clicked like rails. The team rehearsed answers with the cadence that had steadied them since Monday. Ownership, clarity, options. Roadmap proceeds either way, Maya said, aligning a stack of printouts until the corners met exactly. Northlake's communications team sent a second clarification draft. Axiom crossed out a final hedge and added one clean sentence: creator credited by name in all markets, products, and filings, effective upon signature. Board minutes arrived in PDF with a stamped time. Axiom requested they reflect the governance change explicitly. Legal replied, already included. The industry press drew a line of comparison to family revenge stories and family drama stories, pointing out how corporate families treat credit like an heirloom until the law names its owner. In sidebars, analysts described what happens when attribution is treated as policy instead of favor. Stocks edged, then held. Evan looked up from the memo. "Term memo goes tonight," he said. Axiom's version called the points cleanly: exclusive licensing, triple-rate royalty, public inventor credit, audit rights, no transfer without consent, standard SLA alignment, quarterly reports. Maya set a pen along the steel blue binder and left it there like a metronome at rest. Monday at 10. The room, the signatures, the sentence that sets the record. On her screen, a calendar block populated. Negotiation. Monday, 10 o'clock a.m. Beneath it, another tile waited 90 days out. Keynote. National Tech Innovation. She turned the binder a quarter turn until it squared with the table's edge. Across the hall, facilities carried in a new placard with her team's names already printed. The hallway lights hummed low. Phase 1, complete. 3 months later, the stage lights at National Tech Innovation warmed like daylight. A speaker lanyard brushed her shoulder as Maya Collins stepped to the podium. Slide 1 was a single phrase: innovation ownership. She glanced at the front row and began with the cadence that steadied rooms: ownership, clarity, options. She walked through architecture, test harnesses, and the measured way V2 became V2.1. No drama in the verbs: integrate, validate, certify, pilot, generalize, just rails. When the throughput graph rose, murmurs sounded like wind through paper. At the close, she left one sentence standing alone: name the work, name the worker. Clips for Crimson Heirs followed. By noon, industry sites carried a banner, people read twice: license executed, Inventor credited. Northlake published the press clarification exactly as redlined, the first sentence saying her name. Axiom posted a plain update. The licensing framework protects continuity for clients and the future of the Collins algorithm. In the corridors afterward, reporters asked whether this belonged among family revenge stories or family drama stories. Maya adjusted the edge of a folder and answered with nouns: governance, attribution, incentive. The story traveled because corporate families like to call themselves families until the will is read aloud. Quarter by quarter, the map held. 3 products shipped: a high-throughput module, a cost-optimized pipeline, and an observability layer that turned metrics into decisions. Adoption curves beat forecast. 2 enterprise customers signed long migration paths with continuity baked in. The dashboard at Axiom's headquarters drifted from blue to green and stayed there. A year to the week after her exit, Evan walked in with a bottle and 2 glasses. Mail announced what the market had already priced. Axiom's valuation passed Northlake's for the first time. Maya set a hand on the steel blue binder at her desk corner. The room felt correctly weighted. An invitation arrived that afternoon. Women in Tech Summit. Keynote request. Owning your intellectual value. She thumbtacked it beside a small plaque that read, "Value the mind that builds." In the window, her reflection lined up with the words, "The record is set. The review becomes ritual."